Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well, and as always, peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, so Brother Benaiah from the Great Millstone Dallas branch coming back at you with a quick lesson. All right, and in this lesson, we're going to go into the account, all right, in Matthew chapter 14, where Peter walked on water. Okay, now when you read in the Gospels, when you read in Matthew chapter 14, you can also read in the book of Mark, chapter 6, the book of John, chapter 6. It goes into these same accounts of Yahushua walking on water. Okay, but when you read in Matthew chapter 14, it's the only account to where it tells you that Peter also walked on water, stepped over the boat, and walked to Yahushua. All right, and from that small little detail is so heavy, and it shows you the power of faith, you know. And that's why I started with this right here in in Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. All right, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that read through patience, which is suffering, and in comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You see, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given us these scriptures to where we can reach back through time, all right, and grab from the particular experiences that our forefathers or men of our nation went through, all right, and apply it unto our walks in this truth, all right, to help build us up in times to come, all right, because ultimately we're getting ready to face the biggest storm of our life, the storm of the century, which is Jacob's trouble, all right, in the hour of temptation. And even in that storm, Yahweh Shai is going to be with us, man. He's not going to abandon us, all right, just like it says in the book of Matthew, real quick, Yahweh Shai said himself, all right, Matthew chapter 28. I'm gonna get straight to it in verse 20. It says, teaching them to observe all things, whatever I have commanded you, which is Yahweh Shah telling the disciples all power has been given unto him, telling them to in heaven and in earth, telling them to go out and teach the nations and baptize in the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, which those nations, all right, from whence the Israelite foreigners were scattered. Okay. It says, teaching them to observe all things, whatsoever I have commanded you. And this is the point, and lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. Okay. So Yahweh Shai is with us, all right, even right now, even unto the very end. All right. Even it said itself that where two or three are gathered in my name, there I will be in the midst. You see? So Yahweh Shai sent that comforter, because when you go into that word, all right, one of the definitions of that word comforter, it basically goes into the spirit that will be sent down to take the place of Yahweh Shai to lead the apostles, all right, and the believers into a more deeper understanding of the scriptures, and also to give them the power to endure tribulations, all right, and to basically endure into the end. You see, because that was a whole thing Yahweh Shah was teaching the disciples, all right, and preparing them for. He was teaching them about faith, all right, and getting them prepared for when he ascend back up to the Father, and they will have to continue on the ministry. You see, and what better way to learn, all right, is through experience. You see, they say in the word is experience is the best teacher. You see, and that's why I like to go into this account, and why this account is so heavy, all right, and it's written, all right, and it was mentioned in the book of Matthew chapter 14 for a purpose, all right, that way we can take from it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, because let me say this also, this is not the first time that the apostles, all right, back then disciples were caught in a storm on a boat. Okay, you had the first time when you read in Mark chapter 4. That's the first time when you know when they went to Yahweh Shai, they woke Yahweh Shai up when he was in the boat, the hinder parts of the boat. All right. And they said, carest thou not that we drown? You know, and Yahweh Shah told them, why don't you have any faith, man? You see? And so he calmed the seas, you know what I'm saying? And then what did they say? They said, what manner of man is this? Okay. That even the sea and the wind obey him. You see? So they were seeing the glimpses and the miracles that Yahweh Shah was doing. Okay. They were seeing the experience, but we're gonna get this account to where not only are they gonna see the supernatural or the spiritual powers of Yahweh Shah, all right, but one of the disciples is actually going to experience it, all right. And like I said, man, through faith, all right, you can do the impossible, as the scriptures say, through Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, nothing is impossible, all right. That's why Yahweh Shah said himself also that If you have faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed, you will say unto this mountain, remove hinder unto yonder, roughly paraphrasing, Salakia. Okay. But he was showing you the power of faith. And just through this example that we're going to get, you're going to see the power of faith. All right. And why Esau is so scared of this movement. Okay. He's scared of this movement, man, because he knows that this a faith and that power of belief in Yahweh Shem Shai is stronger than any weapon that he has, man. So without further ado, let's get into this account. I don't want to keep rambling. But like I say, Lord, with it's edifying. So let's get it. Let's start right here in the book of Matthew, chapter 14. And we're gonna start at let's start at verse 22. It says, and straightway Yahweh Shai constrained his disciple to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitudes away. Okay, so Yahweh Shai had just got done, doing a miracle feeding the 5,000. Okay, and also I think in the same chapter he had got news that John the Baptist was dead, you know. So he had just got done doing a ministry. He just got done doing this miracle, okay, and he sent the disciples away, told them to get in the boat and go ahead of him, and he did that for a purpose, okay, which you're gonna see, okay. It says, verse 23, and when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray, and when it was evening, it's like it says, and when evening was come, he was there alone. Yeah. It says, but the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. So a storm had picked up. Eve. Now when you go into the time, okay, because I want to grab this, I want to grab Mark chapter 6 as well. But take note of the time, like he said, in evening time. So when you actually go into the history, it goes into how the night is split up into 4 parts, 3 hour parts, from I think from 6 to 9. All right, then from 10 to 12, from 1 to 3, and then from 3 to 6. All right, that's why when you read in the scriptures talk about the third part or the fourth watch, which is gonna say. Okay, so let's keep going. Let me see. Yeah, verse 25, and in the fourth watch, okay, of the night, Yahweh Shah went unto them walking on the sea. So you have to put yourself, all right, you have to put yourself in it, man. You see. So let's go to Mark chapter 6 real quick, because I want to make this point. All right, this is the book of Mark chapter 6. Let me see. Let's see if I can find this. Salakia. Mark chapter 6 and verse 45. It says, and this is going into the same account. And straightway he constrained his disciples to go into his ship and to go to the other side before him to Bethsaida. I think I'm saying that right. It says, which he sent them away, why he sent away the people. And when he had sent them away, he departed unto a mountain to pray. And when evening was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he was alone on the land. So Yahweh Shai was praying, okay? And he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the fourth watch of the night he cometh unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. So evening time, when he sent them away, he was alone around evening time. You see, so the apostles, the disciples at that time were on the boat. And you got to remember that Peter, Andrew, John, and James were fishermen by trade. You see, so they would basically they would have grew up. All right, they grew up on the Sea of Galilee, so they would have knew about all they would have knew the Sea of Galilee very well, man. They would have knew where all the good fishing spots was. They would have knew the patterns the patterns of the wave and the weather, okay, because that was their trade. They grew up on it, right? You know, they would have been familiar with it, okay. They would have mastered the ability to cross. They would have crossed, you know what I'm saying, the Sea of Galilee multiple times. So this was something they was used to, but this storm was different. You see, and Yahweh Shah sent them on ahead of them on purpose. And the whole time, that's what I wanted to get this right here in Mark chapter 6. Okay, because as we read in Matthew chapter 14, it says, I'm gonna jump back, Matthew 14 and verse 23, it says, and when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into the mount apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. In the fourth watch of the night, Yahweh Shah went unto them walking on the sea. So when you read this example right here in Mark, it says Yahweh Shah saw him. He was watching them the whole time. You see, Yahweh Shah was watching them and observing them the whole time. You see, in the midst of that storm. You see, just like now, Yahweh Shai is watching and exert. He ain't take his eyes off us, man. You see, he knows our situation and what we're going through, just like he knew what the disciples back then was going through in the midst of that storm. And like I said, you got to understand that Peter, James, and John, okay, and Andrew were fishermen by trade. So it would have been something they would have been used to, man. But this particular storm was different. So all those expertise that they had in this trade, it wasn't doing any good. And you got to put yourself in the so you got to put yourself in the story, man. When you read this, you got to envision it. You got to have the vision to see it, man. You see? So here it is. He sent them away. All right. And he was alone around evening time. So you can say around 6 o'clock. Okay. Now it said he said that the storm came and the disciples were roaring. You know what I'm saying? In the fourth watch, he came to him. So what should have took an hour or two of crossing, because when you look it up, it only takes an hour or maybe two, depending on the weather, to cross the Sea of Galilee. But this trip that should have took 2 hours extended to 6 to 9 hours, man. Of constantly rowing and rowing. You gotta put yourself in this story, man. They didn't have no lights. The only lights they probably seen, because the fourth watch is like from 3 to 6 in the morning, man. So that's the darkest time. And you out on the sea. You know, if you ever went on a cruise ship, or if you ever been towards the ocean and it's nighttime, you know, and you standing on the beach and you looking out, you see nothing but pitch black. You see, so you can imagine what they were going through while they were getting splashed by waves. Water was coming. You probably had some of the disciples trying to scoop up buckets and throw water out while some were rowing and water, and they getting splashed by huge waves. You know what I'm saying? And only light that they can see is from the other side, you know, from the land, that somebody may have a lamp outside, you know, outside their house or something. The only light they'll see is from the lightning flashes, the little glimpses they can see. Okay, so you can just imagine them rowing for this amount of time. You see all this expertise that these particular disciples had. You know what I'm saying? In fishing, used to being on the Sea of Galilee, they wasn't prepared for that, man. All that expertise, it wasn't nothing working, man. You see? And Yahushua did this purposely and sent them out there for this experience, man. So let's keep going. Let's go back to Matthew chapter 14. And it says, and when the disciples saw, it's like I'll read verse 25. It says, and in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a spirit," and they cried out for fear. So you can just imagine you rowing in this storm, and the only lights that you a flash of lightning, and you see something walking towards you on the water. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they was like, "What the hell?" You know, right? You got to put yourself in their shoes, man. You know, they exhausted, tired, wet. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue going. Verse 27, it says, but straightway Yahushua spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. You see? So not only did the disciples see, all right, Yahushua's spiritual power by him walking on the sea, Peter actually got to experience that power through faith. You see, it says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. You see, so you can imagine Peter stepping out on the boat. You know what I'm saying? And he's walking on the water, and then he looks around at what he's seeing, the storm and the waves. You know, he takes his eyes off Yahushua, and then what, he begins to sink. You see? But immediately, like it says, it's going to say in verse 31, and immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Yeah, you see? So through this, so that shows you the power of faith, all right, and what it can do. Through faith, Peter walked on water, man, by keeping his eyes single and focusing on Yahushua and not focus on the outside, you know, the outward and everything that was going on around him, man. He was able to do the impossible, man. He was able to defy, all right, what this world calls the laws of physics or the laws of nature or whatever you may call it, man. You see, and that's where we're gonna need, all right, in the times that we get ready to come into, man. You see, because spiritual powers, all right, divine intervention is gonna come, miracles are gonna come, but it's gonna take faith, man. You see, and through faith, all right, we can see just from this little, experience. And like I said, Yahweh Shai did this on purpose, man. You see, he did this on purpose to give to teach the disciples, all right, the power of faith, all right, and to not to doubt. You see, because Yahweh Shai had a plan the whole time. He knew when he was gonna come out and rescue him. You know what I'm saying? He was like we read in Mark chapter 6. He was watching the whole time, man. You see, he was watching the whole time, so he always had his eyes on him, seeing him. You know what I'm saying? Just like now, Yahweh Shai knows these particular storms that we're going through, man. And hey, just because we don't see him physically, don't mean he's not here, man. He's here with us, all right. But you gotta have faith, man. You see, and through faith, you can be able to do the impossible, man. Because that's exactly what it's gonna take, all right, for us to endure this storm of the century that, like I said, we're getting ready to face, which is the hour of temptation, all right, in the time of Jacob's trouble. You see, but I just wanted to touch on that, man. All right. Because as the scriptures say, man, like Yahweh Shah said himself, man, if you have faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed, all right, you can move mountains, man, and that's true. All right. So hopefully, man, this lesson is edifying, you know what I'm saying, to you brothers and sisters out there, whoever may come across this video. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. Real quick, let me pull this in let me pull two more, Salakia. Let me pull two more real quick. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, man. Matter of fact, real quick, I'm gonna go to the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, Isaiah 43, and I'll start at verse 1. It says, But now thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not. For I have redeemed thee, I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. This is the point. Verse 2, When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. You see? Just like Yahushua was with the disciples, all right? Even that second time, he was with them the whole time, man. He was watching the whole time. He wasn't gonna let them drown. Just like he wasn't gonna let them drown the first time, man. You see, those were his sheep. You see, and Lord willing, we are his sheep, and he's not gonna let us drown, man. You see, verse 2, it says, When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee, and when thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. All right. Now, like I said, these are examples that we can reach back through the scriptures, all right, reach back through time and take from, man. All right. And then walking through the fire reminds me of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When you reading the book of Daniel, them thrown in the fiery furnace, Yahweh Shah was with those men. You see? Even Nebuchadnezzar, that's why Nebuchadnezzar said, Hey, it's one like it. Didn't we throw three in there? Why do I see four men walking around? One looking like the Son of Man, which is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, man. You see? So no matter what we're going through, these waters and these fires, Yahweh Shai is going to be with us, man. You know, like we read in Matthew 28, I'll be with thee even unto the end of the world. All right. Let's get this in Jeremiah chapter 29, man, and I'll end it off. Like I said, Lord willing is edifying. This is Jeremiah chapter 28. It's like at 29 and verse 11. It says, For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. You see? So the thoughts that the Lord has towards us, man, is not of evil, man, Lord willing. You see? And we in this truth, you brothers and sisters out there enduring, all right, doing your best to follow after the Lord, man. The Lord is with us, man. These particular hells that we catching our betterment, man. You see, to build us up, to make us that pure gold that he's looking for when he comes back. You see? And Lord willing, we're not going to be judged with the world, man. Just like Noah wasn't judged with the world, man. You see? So keep the faith, man. You see, at the end of the day, as long as you keeping your eyes single on Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man, nothing is impossible. You see? Don't let the threats don't like the scripture say in the book of Maccabees, man. The threats of a man that's gonna die, roughly paraphrasing. Don't let Esau's threat, threaten you, talking about you not gonna be able to eat or drink. You see, shit, man. The Lord is the one. The Lord is the one who say so. All right. And with the Lord, like the scriptures say, hey, nothing is impossible. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. No honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone and teaching root well. As always, peace and salutations unto the elect. Shalom.